Welcome to the How Good It Can Get podcast, where we dive deep into the transformative journey from surviving to thriving. Join me, your host, Andrea Rice, on this empowering exploration of mindfulness, spirituality, and unlocking your full potential. Let me show you just how good it can get. Hello and welcome. I am Andrea Rice, the host and visionary behind the brand How Good It Can Get. I'm really excited to be here and tell you guys a little bit about myself before we get started. So a couple of years ago, I went through probably the hardest time of my life. My marriage of 23 years came to a screeching halt. It was not something I expected. It was not something that I saw coming. And to say that I was stuck would be an understatement. I remember sitting on the floor of my kitchen and just feeling so heavy. I mean, literally like my whole body was made of lead. I didn't know how I was going to get to the next minute, let alone the next day, the next month, the next year. Everyone kept telling me it'll get better. Just take it day by day. But I didn't even know how to take it minute by minute. I was stuck and I really didn't know what to do. But fast forward 3.5 years later, I can tell you that my marriage imploding was the catalyst to the best part of my life. I am literally living a life that I never saw coming. I am living a life beyond my wildest dreams. Since that moment on the kitchen floor when I thought my life was over, I have been on a journey. And through that journey, I have published 4 books and 2 journals. I have started this podcast. I've started this brand. You can go to howgooditcanget.com and see a little bit more about what I'm about and what I'm trying to do. And I do believe that everyone has their own journey. It's different for everyone. The path that you're walking, it's something you got to walk alone. No one can do it for you. And so for us, everyone's journey is different. But what is the same, I believe, are the tools that you need along the way to get you from a place of stuck to a place of abundance. And that's what I hope to do, is share the tools that I learned along the way on my journey. And I'm still learning every day. This is a lifelong process. But I hope that you will take away some tools from this show that you can put in your toolkit. So no matter where you are on your journey, it's a little bit easier to get to a place where you can say, I love my life, because that's where I am right now. And that's where I believe we all are meant to be. So thank you. I'm ready to dive into this first episode. So my first guest on How Good It Can Get is none other than Wes Coons. He's a Reiki master and quantum healing expert. And if you've not heard it already, he is also has this amazing podcast called Enlightenment Unknown, Life of a Spiritual Nomad. It is amazing. It is going to pull you in the second you hear it. It's about spirituality. It's about his personal journey to awakening. And so without further ado, Wes, thank you for being my guest today.
Andrea, thanks for having me on the show. And to give credit where credit is due, the podcast that I put together, Andrea has pushed me to do that. She's helped me put it together. And same thing with the book series that we have. If it wasn't for her, none of this would happen. So I want to say thank you. And I've watched you grow over the last few years, and it's a beautiful thing.
Oh, Wes, thank you. That's so sweet. I think we just have a shared vision, and I appreciate all of those kind words. You are truly an inspiration to me. And I wanted to start out by talking a little bit about the book series that we started. It's the Enlightened Children series. And the first book is What Color is Your Dragon? And if you don't mind, I'll read a little passage from it, and then we'll talk about it a little.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to hear it.
All right. Let me get my glasses. Sydney stood in front of her bedroom mirror, repeating words of empowerment with unwavering confidence. Her red dragon Tessa, invisible to everyone but Sydney, stood by her side as Kennedy, her loyal companion, wagged her tail in approval. As Sydney joyfully declared, I am smart, I am beautiful, I love myself. Her mom, intrigued by the cheerful atmosphere, walked into the room. Hey, Sydney, what's going on in here? She asked. glancing at the words taped to the mirror. So that's how we open up What Color is Your Dragon? We start with positive affirmations, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today a little bit, because on my personal journey, that was one of the first tools that I added to my toolkit is words of affirmations. So Wes, do you use positive affirmations in your daily life?
All the time, Andrea. And when we created this book, one of the things we wanted to do is change the world, and we changed the world with our children. I think it's fair to say our babies don't understand who they are today. There's lots of outside sources telling them different things. And imagine if anybody on this podcast could go back 20, 30, 40 years, learn how to think differently. How much would we have saved ourselves within the realm of experiencing pain and discomfort we would have avoided? So I learned it at 50 years old. We're trying to teach them at 6, 8, or 10 years old. And I use affirmations every day. I was on the boardwalk this morning walking my new puppy. And if you walk past me, you're going to hear me saying, I am gifted, I am beautiful, I am loved. I am gifted, I am beautiful, I am loved. And that makes me feel better. I'm reprogramming my brain to think that thought instead of the thoughts that I was programmed with as a child.
Yeah, exactly. We've talked about that a lot, Wes and I, just in everyday conversation, like how different would our lives be today if we were taught these tools as a child instead of, Wes said, he started doing positive affirmations at 50. I started doing them at, 45 when my marriage came to an end. But I too use positive affirmations every day. Every day before I take a shower, before I get dressed, I wake up, I get my coffee, and I start telling myself, I am beautiful, I am smart, I am capable. Love seeks me out. Everything that I desire desires me. I have to start my day like that because it really affects how the day unfolds.
Yes, it does. It changes everything. The mornings that I get up and I do affirmations, I read my goals, I do my declarations, I have a different outcome that day than if I just wake up and go to work every single time.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely encourage anyone out there who isn't currently using positive affirmations in your daily life, incorporate them, just every day. Just repeat something that, you want, that is positive. Like you said, I am beautiful, right? Like, I am loved. It really will attract those things into your life.
Yeah. So, one of the things Andrea and I are doing in both of our podcasts and especially here is, I've heard so many people say, hey, Wes, you need to learn how to love yourself, or you need to learn how to forgive that, or you need to heal this, but nobody tells you how to do it. We're going to tell you how to do it. And we're going to give you principles and tools and techniques that you can implement as you're driving to work, or you're at work or with your loved one and you're in an awkward position where you can excuse yourself, go to the bathroom, reset your energy, say some affirmations, step into your power, then move forward with the rest of that day. And it's going to change things.
Yeah, I know for me, when I was first going through my separation, I wore it on my face. I did not look like the person I look today. I looked stressed. I looked tired. And I remember people telling me, just go take a yoga class. Okay. Like that was going to fix everything in my life. I love yoga. There's no disrespect to yoga, but I would like to know where this magical yoga class is. I would like to go.
Yeah, I want to go to that class too. And the other bit of advice I hear people say all the time when you're going through a breakup, just get back out there, Wes. Just get back out there. Yeah, okay, so I'm on fire, I'm miserable, I'm broken, I'm not healed. So let's pour some gasoline by adding another miserable relationship that I don't know how to manage into the mix. That's going to solve everything. People give us the best advice that they can, but the reality is I don't go to a plumber to ask how to bake a cake. I go to somebody who knows how to bake a cake. And that's what you're going to learn here. You're going to learn those tools. You're going to learn systems that work because we've implemented them, we process them, and we teach them.
Yeah, and I have to say, a lot of people are like, oh, you can't really be that happy. You can't really think that highly of yourself, and I do. I am happy. I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. I literally was driving down the street yesterday and I was like, wow, I have never been this happy. And coming from a place, there are people out there, I know you're on whatever part of your journey you're on, you may be feeling like, well, that's great for you, but that's not going to happen for me.
Sure. Yeah, I hear that all the time. I had somebody, I'm helping somebody in my personal life with something, and he says, Wes, if I were like you and I had everything worked out and I had the perfect life, and I'm like, whoa, brother. I said, what do you think? I don't have problems? You don't think I have things that aren't working the way I want them to work? Do you think that I don't have challenges and pain and issues? I do. However, I choose to look at them differently. We find the beauty in the pain, meaning if you're going through a breakup, the beauty in that breakup is that person has shown you all the cracks that you have inside yourself that you need to heal so you can become a better person and get to that next level. And we're going to talk about that in detail in this program.
Yeah, exactly. And that reminds me of an experience I had. I was going through a really tough time about 2 years ago. And I remember I was just like, all right, I had this commitment I was supposed to go and follow through with. And I said, I'm not doing it. I'm just I wanted to lay in bed and just not do what I needed to do. And I told a friend of mine about it. And he sent me this, it's like a YouTube video. I don't know. It's a 3-minute thing, but I think about it probably every day since then. So I was like, oh, this relationship ended. And he goes, good. Now you can focus on yourself, right? Or that job didn't pan out. Good. Now you can learn more skills to get an even better job. Or, I didn't get that promotion. Good. Now you can look at yourself and see how you can be better. Like everything I really do believe happens for a reason. Don't you, Wes?
Exactly. And here's the key. If you don't learn how to see that, you'll never experience it. Perfect example. This last summer's on paper could have been one of the worst summers of my life. I had 3 heart procedures. I lost my dog. I got COVID. 11 days in the hospital for 4 emergency room trips, 1 by ambulance. I could easily say that was the worst summer that I've ever experienced. However, the beauty and the pain is I believed I didn't have any family here because my children live in Florida and I felt alone. But when I went in for my first heart procedure, I had 14 people sitting in the waiting room waiting for me to have my surgery. So that was a lie. That was a lie that I believed. So I had to experience that to see the truth. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. So when my dog Kennedy went to walk with the Lord, I could be, and I am heartbroken, but the reality is she knew it was safe for me to go because she was in pain and she was older. And she knew if she left that I would be okay. So it was a good exit point for her and for me to step forward, continuing to be the person I'm supposed to be. So those are the gifts.
Yeah, you just have to learn how to look at it, and that's what we want to help people do. But I need to say a little thing about Kennedy. I know Kennedy, and I get choked up. She was amazing. If I know most of you out there don't know her, but Kennedy was amazing, and she does live forever in our Enlightened Children series. She's a big part of What Color Is Your Dragon and all of the books that are coming. So I'm just grateful that Kennedy lives on.
Yeah, Kennedy was a beautiful partner. She was a 65-pound black and tan saddleback German Shepherd. So if you know what that looks like, you can see it. If not, you can Google it. Or you can go onto Amazon and find What Color Is Your Dragon and purchase that book. The cool thing about the book, there's affirmations, there's different things that the family unit can connect with your children. It teaches your child how to step into their power, how to look up when they're looking for their gifts. That's a higher power for us as God, maybe something other for you. But that's what the red dragon represents, is a higher power. And there's lots of beautiful little surprises in there. And it's going to be really fun to go through that journey.
Yeah. And I do want to say that the reason I wanted to kind of focus on this book and, teaching our children is I know most of the people listening to this podcast, you're adults, right? But we all have either children in our life, grandchildren, nieces, nephews. We have children in our lives. And I think it's just important to know that the tools that we're learning now, yes, maybe we're learning them later in life, but now that we have the tools, now that we're learning the tools, we can share them with our children.
Yeah. And, the fun thing about that is going to give you an opportunity to connect at a different level with our kids. It's hard to connect nowadays with technology, with their friends, the things that they want to do. But I believe in my heart, this is going to teach us how to, as a human being, as a parent, as an adult, to heal the things that we need to heal. And I believe the greatest gift that we can give our children is doing that. Letting your 8, 10, 12-year-old child, however old they are, see mom or dad healing from things that cause pain, moving into a new realm of consciousness and becoming the person they're supposed to be, they're going to follow in tow. So the greatest gift we can give our children is that right there, and it doesn't really cost you anything.
No.
It just makes you feel better. And then we can change, we can break the chains that have haunted generations of our family today. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, and I like how you say it doesn't cost you anything, right? Because you don't need a fancy gym membership. You don't need a fancy life coach. Honestly,
that yoga class.
That yoga class. I mean, you do need the magic yoga class. Yeah, I forgot about that. But all of the answers are really inside of you. That's what I've learned over my journey. Is whatever answer I'm looking for. It's inside. So you're walking around right now with all the answers and the tools that you need. You just need to unleash them.
Yeah. So it took me a long time, Andrea, to comprehend that statement. When I would hear people say, love is the highest vibration, would frustrate me to no end because all I understood was pain. They would say, look within. And if I looked within, all I seen was I was ugly, weak, and stupid because that's all I was told as a child. I didn't see what I see now. I didn't see what other people seen. So I think the first step for me on that journey was starting with affirmations. It wasn't comfortable at first. I didn't believe it at first. However, after a couple of weeks of me pounding those I ams, I am beautiful, I am gifted, I am powerful, I am loved, I am smart, I am talented. After probably about 6 to 10 days, I noticed my self-talk was that. I would hear myself walking down the hallway saying, I am gifted, I am powerful, I'm beautiful. I'm like, hey, that's new. Mm-hmm. It was better than the other.
Yeah, it's really just rewiring your brain, and it has to become a habit.
Yes.
Yeah, so make it a daily habit. And at the risk of doing too much self-promotion, I do have another book on Amazon called I Am, and it's for the youngest readers, the ones that can't even read yet. It's just very basic affirmations. I am strong. I am loved. So you can start sharing that with your newborn babies if you want to. And I really do believe that we can create a much better, kinder, more loving world if we all just, start with little things like positive affirmations and changing our mindset into something more positive.
Exactly. So, Andrea, how can they find you? You're on Instagram, right?
Yes, so you can go to An Abundant Universe on Instagram or howgooditcanget.com. And let's see, also share this podcast with your friends, and then you can go to Amazon. I do have an author page there under How Good It Can Get, where you can see all of my publications.
Yeah, and you have a brand new Linktree account that's going to be on your Amazon, right? Is that how that works? Because
yes.
I'm technology, broken, if whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Yes, we do have a new Linktree. It's actually one that Wes and I share together because we, like I said, have a lot of the same passion and are trying to get the same message out into the world, even though we do it maybe a little bit differently. But if you go to our Linktree, which is Enlightened Alliance, you will see the link to my podcast, Wes's podcast, which I am telling you, please go check out. It's already gotten some amazing feedback and reviews. People are loving it. And if you have not heard it yet, you will be a fan from episode 1. And right now we have our Instagram accounts there, our personal websites there, and we do have much more planned, right? We have a lot planned for the Enlightened Children series. Book 2 is with the illustrator now, so that is well on its way. We have a Spanish version coming out. We want to really make this as accessible to everyone that we can. And we have some courses planned, some ebooks planned, just a lot planned. So yes, please go check it out.
Thank you. And this has been fun. I'm looking forward to further episodes.
Yeah, I can't wait. Thank you, Wes, for being my first guest. And thank all of you for listening. We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the How Good It Can Get podcast. Remember, the power to transform your life is within you. So stay mindful, stay empowered, and keep embracing how good it can get.